Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, what is up everybody? Welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel. Happy Saturday everybody. And today we're getting into some fun summery style horror, talking a little Friday the 13th part 3. I'm really excited to talk a little bit about it. I have some special guests tonight. We're gonna bring them on here in just a second. I do want to say hello to some of the wonderful folks who have come to say hey and talk a little bit about this very weird movie. So what's up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? Dawson's Creek, what's up, my friend? How you doing? Hi. Hi, 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 hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Slayer, I like that. What's up, dog? How you doing? Little Terminator profile picture, I vibe with it. Welcome in. Hello, hello, my friend. RJ Skarenki, by the way, come on my birthday to party with Disco Jason. All right. That was something I just learned about this flick, was that people really like the disco rendition of the Friday the 13th theme song that plays during the opening credits. I didn't even know that was like really a thing. I'm going to be jamming to it all week, RJ, so I hope you enjoy it. Happy birthday. Jam to it on your birthday, man. Have a little fun. I love it. Welcome in, dude. Appreciate you. Paula Fitzhenry, what's up? What's up? You're almost home? Good. Getting ready for the stream? Hell yeah. Welcome in, Paula. Thank you for being a member. I appreciate your support. Julian Perez saying Friday Part 3 kind of mid, though. You know, I don't know. You know, what's interesting about this last rewatch I just did was there was things about it that I had originally thought like, you know, wasn't crazy about. I really enjoyed the characters a lot more than what I remember, which I'm sure we're going to get into in tonight's discussion. I was like, they're not that bad. They're like, not all of them are great, but there's some good standouts, I think, across the board. But I'm excited to get into it, Julian. I do not think this is like one of the worst entries, like how I used to. I definitely have a little better vision on this flick than in the past. It ranked a lot lower for me than how it does now. Sinister 5.0, what's up? Killjoy Jake, how are ya? I'm doing great. I'm fantastic. Talking a little Friday the 13th tonight, and I got a very special video coming out for patrons on this weekend. You can watch it right now if you're a Jason and Freddy tier patron, and then it's coming out for everybody on Monday. So I really hope that people like it. That's what's on my brain. I hope that you're doing good, though. Welcome in, Wednesday! Welcome in, bro. Appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thomas French, it's not on for me. Well, it is now, buddy. Welcome in. Appreciate you. What's wrong with Jake? A lot of things, my friend. Welcome in. Appreciate you a whole bunch. Erica's with us as well. Thank you for being a channel member. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome in. Welcome in. Jace Crawford is saying, what's up, Jake? Friday 3 does hold up, in my opinion. Guilty pleasure film. I think that's kind of where I'm at with it, too, Jace. This might be a guilty pleasure movie for me moving forward. I like that. I think that's same wavelength. Thank you for being a channel member, dude. The most mid-slasher film of all time, Friday Part 3. Fair enough, man. I'm really excited to get into this conversation tonight. We have people with a lot of varying opinions on this, so it's gonna be fun. They wasted the 3D in this movie. It's probably my least favorite element of the whole flick, if I'm being honest. Very jarring, very in your face. Scott, what's up? What's up, fella? How's it going? Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being a member. Appreciate you. Chasten saying, Jake, love to see you. I love to see you too. Appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Did I check out the new leaked Nosferatu trailer? I did. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see it in theaters. Ooh, I probably should have. It looks sick though, and I'm very excited to see the movie when it does come out. Ty Lee is saying, is this the one with the James Bond style opening credits where he slashes through the screen? That is part 6, my friend, which is fantastic. I love part 6. I love when he slashes through that shit. So much fun. Sorry, I'm cursed. What's up, dude? How you doing? Thank you for being a member. Appreciate you. Hey, 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 hey. What do I think of Shelly? Oh, that is going to be a big topic of tonight's conversation. I promise you. Shit, that fucking guy. Ty Lee loves watching it in 3D. It's a top 5 of the franchise. Ooh, okay. Hell yeah, dog. You know, we were supposed to have Dylan from Splattercast on tonight, and he's a huge fan of Part 3. This used to be his favorite from the whole franchise, and I'm kind of sad that he unfortunately was not able to make it tonight, because I did want to talk to him a little bit about this one. But I'm hyped for it nonetheless. I'm hyped to talk about this, and I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's my favorite. I don't even know if I would say top 5, but I do really like this one. I've come around to it, one might say. All right, gonna say hi to a few more people, and then we're getting to it. Davey, what's up, fella? Hey, Jake, brand new here. Well, welcome, man. This is your first stream that you've caught. Holy crap. Is Chris the biggest tease in all of the Friday the 13th Dumb. Also, how cool is Jason's nonchalant? I didn't know what you meant there. I was like, Friday the 13th, dumb. I gotcha. Also, how cool is Jason's nonchalant attitude after the spear gun kill? Jason is fucking cool in this movie, man. He does not give a fuck. He's tired. It's Saturday. It's not even Friday for him anymore. So he's just like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm not supposed to be working today. I'm too busy. I'm too busy for this shit. I'm Jason Voorhees. I love it. I love his attitude in this movie. It's very fun. Even if it kind of maybe was unintentional. It's funny shit. I love it. But the spear gun kill is iconic. One of the best scenes in this whole movie, Davey. Dude, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I really appreciate you. I hope that you enjoy the stream. It's going to be a fun time tonight. So welcome in. And then, of course, hello to one more of our members. Hello, Yez. What's up, fella? How's it going? We're talking a little Friday the 13th, part 3 tonight. I'm so excited to get into it. So without further ado, let's introduce some of our fantastic friends who are going to be talking a little Friday the 13th with us. First, we have Brian from Slasher in Suits. What's up, fella?
Yeah!
You excited for tonight?
Oh, yeah, dude. Love talking Friday the 13th. I owe my whole channel to Friday the 13th. I love it.
Yeah, nice, man. I am getting a little bit of a feedback, little something.
Okay.
I think I can hear myself through your stuff.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, we're having...
We've had a lot of technical difficulties tonight. It's all good though. We're getting through it. We're making it happen.
Good. No?
I'm hearing it a little bit, just a little bit, just a tiny bit. It's okay. Brian, I appreciate you for being with us tonight, though.
Oh, thanks a lot, Jake. Pleasure to be here.
Hell yeah. So you do kill counts on your page for those who don't know.
Oh, yeah, I do kill counts about mostly new horror movies, but I gotta credit a lot of Friday the 13th to my channel. I think it's like, at first, before under 1,000 viewers, I just used to post the whole movie and commentate over it, like Mystery Science Theater or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's like the first videos that like took off for me. Then I was like, oh, let me do Friday the 13th, the game, and with kills from the movies, and then that was like one that finally got like over 1,000 views. And Jake, once you hit something like, oh my god, it's gold, I'm gonna keep on going till this well till it's done. So I owe a lot to Friday the 13th, and yeah, just love it. But yeah, just try to do different kill counts and do different stuff on my channel too. So yeah.
Very nice, man. Well, I'm excited to talk a little Friday with you tonight. It's gonna be fun. And then we also have one of our wonderful channel members on tonight, Locked. What's up, dude?
Not much. Happy to talk about what's my fourth favorite in the franchise. One of my favorite of the older ones. I think the only older one I like more than this one is Jason Lives.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jason Lives, dude. I'm excited to get to that one eventually in this series, but we do got to tackle Friday Part 3 tonight. So, speaking of which, Brian, I'm still getting like crazy echo, by the way, man. I'm so sorry.
Shit. All right, here, let's see.
It's like I got my own voice in my head. I can't even.
All right, is that better?
Check. Yes.
Check?
Yeah.
That's perfect, dude. Cool. I'm so sorry. I can't even think. Oh no, what's going on? But I do want to ask. Oh, what's up?
No, I remember trying to listen to the last stream. I'm like, oh, I sound so awful. Oh god.
I think you sound beautiful, Brian.
All right, thanks, Jake.
You're welcome. I got you, dog.
I was so psyched about this. I rewatched the movie. I rewatched the part on Never Sleep. I'm not Never Sleep. Crystal Lake Memories.
Oh, okay.
Get some new info on it, and played the single player missions on the game again. That's 2 maps.
Very nice. Okay, well, look at you're more prepared than I am at this point. I love it, dude.
Oh well, yeah, just love this. Love Friday the 13th. I love Part 3 too, but yeah, I heard someone say it was mid. It's mid for this series, but it's not mid. Like, this is still better than Founders Day or any other slasher movie that's come out. And come on, man, it laid a lot of work for slashers in the 80s, dude. The hockey max, man.
It's iconic. It's iconic, dude. But speaking of which, what are our overall thoughts on Friday the 13th, Part 3? Just to kick this thing off. And Locked, we're going to start with you, man.
I've seen it twice now. Just watched it literally like a little over an hour ago, finished it. My general thoughts, I think that the first half, especially if you're coming off of a marathon, because the first 10 minutes are Part 2, But
Yeah.
around that middle mark, when he first comes on screen with the mask to the end, which I think is about 40 minutes or so left of the movie, I think it really picks up steam there. It might be more like 50 minutes. I think from there to the end, like it's pretty good. I like that whole bit there. It's some of my favorite part of the franchise.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's the best like final part of a movie, you know? Like some movies are good in the first part or the second part. This is definitely like more in the back end.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think a lot of this movie does feel like it's just kind of copying and pasting what the previous film did and then like trying to do it in its own way. But like that third act, for the most part, you know, besides the Pamela jump scare, is pretty much its own thing. And it does have some scary moments. I was talking with Evan from Rockland Graves, who was telling me one of his like the scariest moments with Jason is in this flick when he's just standing in the window looking all creepy. And I kind of agree with him. Like, it's a super creepy visual. I love the way Jason looks in this movie. It's just, it looks gross and off, you know? It's like, ooh, it's spooky stuff. But do you guys know about the original idea for Friday the 13th Part 3 that was supposed to bring Ginny back in an insane asylum or whatever, and she was supposed to fight Jason there? I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on that.
Would it change the whole game? I mean, they already did the whole "Let's kill Alice" at the beginning of Part 2. So they're like, "Oh, cool! So we're gonna face off against Jenny," and I don't know what the hell happened. Money, or I don't know. She says she regrets it now. So,
Yeah.
but she did other slashers. She did April Fool's Day and such. So she had a career outside of this, but she could have been like the Jamie Lee Curtis of the Friday the 13th series, dude. So
I totally agree. I think she could have been a big star in this franchise. Locked, what are your thoughts on like Ginny continuing the franchise? Yeah, just like what
it seems
the
that
original idea.
It seems that they basically rebooted that idea with Tommy through 4 through 6, because Part 5 is not that, but it's a skeleton of that idea.
Right. It is very similar. I didn't even think about that.
Cool
That's
idea.
a good point.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it would have been a cool idea. I'm happy that we got this version because I think Chris in those last 20 minutes, the last 20 minutes especially, like the moment she finds the shirt in the bathtub at the end, like it's rocked so hard. So I'm happy we've got this version, but you know, requels could be kind of exciting.
Anything can happen there. You know, we could still
happen.
bring her back maybe at some point in the future. That could be fun. I'm not against none of that. I think Ginny she's one of my favorite final girls in the whole franchise. I would have loved to have seen that version. Even though, like you said, I do like a lot of elements from this that would be lost had that version existed. But it does make me sad. I think something besides Tommy Jarvis, I don't know if we have like a really big focal final character that's like the protagonist to Jason's antagonist. I think Tommy Jarvis is the closest thing, and he's cool and all, but I don't know. I wish there was more movies with Ginny. It just made me think about that.
What I read was this is where you're supposed to find Paul's body in her dorm. So, like how we didn't see what happened to Paul, you know, like Jason loves like plant bodies, shit, like, but it's sort of funny. Like he's going to put the body in his car, drive all the way to her dorm. He's never like placed bodies at remote locations before. I don't think. Not that remote, but yeah, it sort of seems like I know what you did last summer at the very end, you know, like following her to the dorm and everything. So that was cool that we got to see that in that movie. But yeah, it's just what could have been.
It is a shame, man. It is a shame. But I am still happy with this one, 3D effects and all. Speaking of which, the 3D element. I mean, we have to talk about it. It is all over this movie. If you don't watch this one in 3D, it's almost like you're missing something, right? So with that, how do you guys feel about this very poignant element of this flick? Has it aged well or maybe not so much? And Brian, we'll start with you this time, and we'll kind of do like a little loop-de-loop.
Oh, okay. Hey, Jake, do you see this? Whoa! Whoa! So in your face. And watching it, if you didn't know it was 3D, like, what the hell is that about? Just
the yo-yo, you know, just like
yo-yo. I think it was when they did Crazy Ralph again, but I don't know what they did, and he's like holding an eye, or it looked like a funky like 8-ball or something like that. Like, what the hell was he holding? I don't know, but it's just so weird. And they said that took up all the time. Like they had to do like 30 shots for you to get that right. Like you had to stay focused the whole time. Like very stupid. Like wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, the number of pulls, man. The number of like end of things pointed at the screen. Like, I mean, on the clothesline, the bat, goodness, the pitchfork. Like, there was probably more. Like, so many. Oh my goodness! Every single time I saw one, I was like, "Dude, this movie has an obsession with like phallic objects for some reason. Like, what is going on?"
Was it only those moments that are in 3D? Like the rest of it's fine, and then just whoa.
I think the only effective 3D scene that has aged not terribly is, if I remember, because like the harpoon is coming at the screen when he shoots it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
Like, that one's okay to me. Because like I still like the fallout of it, like seeing her like fall into the water. First of all, it's my favorite kill in the movie. As much as the split kill is awesome, I love the harpoon kill, and plus just everything about that scene. But other than that scene, I think my brain just kind of, because I want to like this movie because there's so much I like about it, that when like his head is getting squished and the eye pops out, I'm like, oh, it's fine. The little, it's fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's aged very poorly, but yeah, the 3D stuff is. It's funny. That's probably what they marketed all around, and it's like the weakest part of the movie.
I think like Planet CHH, he's a YouTuber who collects all sorts of stuff. I think
great.
he has it on like a 3D version that you watch at home with its own glasses or some shit.
Oh yeah, I have that. Yeah.
You have that?
Yeah. It came with the glasses or whatever. Like I think the box set has the glasses, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that, but
does it work at home?
I remember like saying I have not watched it in 3D, but I do remember saying to my friends, "Hey, like I have the 3D version. We have to do this sometime. I don't care if this movie's kind of dumb. Like we're doing it.
Yeah.
Like we're watching the 3D version of this." But I'm 90% sure the Scream Factory box set like has that 90%. I might be wrong.
Is
I don't
it
know.
new 3D or the bullshit like red and green or red and blue ones?
Probably
right?
the
Like-
bullshit.
Probably the bullshit one. I had a friend who had a 3D TV and that shit was amazing. Like,
Ooh.
you could watch that shit. He had batteries in it and all that. Yeah, it's nuts. So I think
Okay.
they should really put that James Cameron technology, that Avatar technology in this one. Let's see it. Let's see it for reals, like it was meant to be. Like they haven't really done a really good horror movie in 3D, but I remember seeing Scream 6 in 3D, and I thought that was awesome.
I forgot they released that in 3D. You're right, man.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
cool
yeah,
though.
They did.
Dude, the head in the fridge at the very beginning was crazy. It was like floating at you. And
Ooh.
that was dope. I think I saw it twice in 3D that way.
Okay, sick, man. I honestly I never even knew that about. I think I had talked about it like in an update, but I never caught like a 3D screening. That's
Or
cool.
I think
though.
when they're on the ladder too, you could really see it. Like whoa, like
Yeah.
the whole ladder thing. You saw the whole depth of it. So yeah, it's like a
Yeah, that'd be
gimmick.
wild.
And this gimmick carried this movie to like the highest box office of all the series until Freddy vs. Jason, I think. So yeah, the gimmick worked, and they should have done more 3D.
Friday the
Wow.
13th, the final chapter, 3D.
I'm down. Just redo the whole series of
lives.
3D stuff. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it, man. I will say, like, just to throw a comment on there, like, I think it's a little egregious, and you can tell the majority of the focus of this movie was like, let's make the 3D thing work. But I think, I don't know, for the most part, it's fun. It feels like an event movie. It feels like it's the early 80s again, and I'm going to see the new Friday, you know, when I'm watching.
It's a very much an event film for sure.
Yes.
You can
Yeah.
tell that almost every scene.
It has that fun element to it that I appreciate. But Scott is throwing $10 out there, dude. Thank you so much for the support, Scott. I really appreciate you. Saying things don't add up in this film. In one shot, we see Jason in overalls from part 2, and then we see him in his new look. Then in Chris's dream sequence, she tells Rick this does not add up in the timeline. I smell what you're stepping in, Scott, and I'm curious what the other fellas around here have to say about that. So I can't remember who we started with first last time, but whoever wants to comment on this first, how do we feel about this? Jason does not look the same how he did in part 2 with the long hair and the bag.
He gets that outfit in the beginning. We got the weird couple. Is this a good part to bring up the weird couple at the beginning?
This is
they
a
are
great time.
I like the scene. It's so pointless, but the scene where the dude is in like his little convenience store, I guess, and he's like petting the bunny and like picking up 5 different pieces of food. It's so weird, but I'm like, okay. I don't like the bit later when he's taking a dump because I just didn't need to hear those sound effects. But that bunny scene was kind of cute. But yeah, he gets the part 3 outfit because he's like out there, moving him around in the clothesline, and he like you can see he took some of the clothes down. He needed a new fresh fit. Yeah, he needed a new fresh fit for his kills. Oh, not the overalls, but the outfit. He like the button up and the pants. He got it there.
I think Scott's main thing here is that when we see the dream sequence or like the, whatever flashback scene where Chris is talking about being attacked by Jason but not saying his name in the woods, like he looks like how he has the whole movie opposed to part 2's Jason, which would make more sense timeline wise. It kind of breaks that. But I mean, it's a dream sequence, It's like I can get it.
Sequence,
well,
in
it
a
was
movie
a retelling, right? Like a flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's also a movie where
happened. Yeah.
Yeah, this movie is dark. I think it's something else about the 3D is the director was like, dude, I can make a dark as hell movie. Because when you really think about this movie, like it is brutal as shit. They're not even really camp counselors. They're just hanging out at a resort, and he pops up and he's like, all right, I'm about to ruin it. Like maybe he recognizes Chris, and he's like I told Jake, I feel like this is kind of a little bit like Halloween Kills. Because he gets fucked up at the end of part 2, and then he gets his little outfit, and he's like, "Oh, this little couple's he's enjoying his donut. Well, I'm gonna fuck these two up." And then he finds these counselors, not even counselors, just these people, and he's like, "Oh, I recognize her. I'm about to kill every single one of them, and then leave her last." Like, he is mean as shit in this movie. And then the ending, Chris is kind of loony at the end. That's probably not the way I should say that, but psychosis break it down at the end.
Yeah,
very mean movie. But yeah, since it's a 3D movie though, I mean the fact that they use like the flashback and it doesn't add up right, it's an event film. It's like going to see Godzilla x Kong to me. It's what this was in the 80s.
Brian, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's sort of weird. Like, what did the old couple actually do? The counselors, right? He had beef with those. That's his motivation. Like, they were having sex. They should have been watching him. So he's going to kill all the counselors who come by. This old couple don't live, like, I think he took that machete out of his shoulder and then went over there, oh, you're to our home. Yeah, it's very much Michael Myers, like, fuck y'all, and killed those people. And that's it. I don't know what they did wrong. They're just like a married couple. Like, I like it when there's sin involved. They're teenagers, they're having sex. They shouldn't yet. Or they're drinking and do drugs. These guys are just chilling, running their little shop or whatever. Like,
it's very Halloween Kills like, because you have the two different couples in that movie that are just chilling, and Michael's just like, oh, really? But a little device, watch this shit.
I get because she talks shit. Like, I don't get the big deal with Judith Myers, and Michael was at the cemetery, so he might have beef with that. So I go, oh,
he heard that. He was like,
he's my mother. He holds a grudge forever and eventually kills this person. But the beginning of part 3, it's just, I would have liked it better if it's the insane asylum or the dormitory, like following Jenny and trying to kill her. And then we could just catch up to these people anyway, if that's the plan. But yeah, I didn't know he got the overalls from over there. Oh, damn. Thanks. That's why you watch streams like this, to learn.
Exactly, man. That's why we do it. I will say the one thing I will agree with when it comes with Scott here is that he does have the long hair in part 2, and then like just the the bald, weird misshapen head in part 3, and this one is supposed to take place like the next day. So like I'm like, I don't. It's odd, it is a totally different design. It also comes from the same director as the last movie. Like, this is the only 2 Friday movies that are directed by the same guy. So it makes me wonder, like, why why it changed so much between the 2 movies. Obviously, it was a good call because that's how we get the iconic Jason look from this movie. But I don't know. It's just an odd choice. Like I just think about if I were making this movie, I probably wouldn't have done that. Like to try to keep some consistency. But I guess a happy accident at the end of the day.
Traps too, like shit.
Jason is built in this movie, dude.
He's jacked in this. Like, oh,
Richard Brooker doesn't get enough credit. He's probably, I don't know if he's my favorite Jason, but I feel like he set the standard for what came after. Like,
yeah,
he's so good in this movie. And I've watched some stuff about him like outside of the movie. Seems like one of the nicer guys to like ever be one of the boogeyman type characters in a suit. Really cool guy. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. It's a shame. I do like this Jason a lot, despite some of the weird characters in this movie. Which, speaking of which, the characters.
I love the characters.
We're getting into it, man. For the longest time, guys, I was so just like, man, the Friday Part 3 characters, they're so milquetoast, they're so much the same as whatever came before it. But I like on this rewatch, that was the biggest thing for me. I'm like, I don't hate these characters nearly as much as I did the last time I watched this. They're not, 10 out of 10, oh my god, best slasher characters I've ever seen, but I had a fun time with them at the very least, and I think that is maybe one of the most important things when it does come down to a Friday the 13th continuation. The other thing that really sold me about this, which I think I might have missed the first time I watched this flick, is that it's really based in a lot of meta humor. This is the first time we kind of start to lean into the campiness of this franchise, which I think, again, polished over some of the rough edges for this movie for me personally. Brian, we'll start with you this time. What are your thoughts on the characters in Friday Part 3 and the injection of some meta humor?
I think this one, out of all the other ones, most of the dialogue sound like it comes straight from sitcoms. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's like quick joke, or it's like, why don't you scream during sex? Give me something to scream about. Like in the live audience, we'll be like, whoa, like a crowd reaction or something. Like that's how I felt like watching this. It felt like there should be like a laugh track or something to some of this because it felt so sitcom-y. But Shelley was a good character. I mean, you got like a Jewish boy. You got a Latina, you got the bikers, the black bikers too. So it's very diverse, this whole cast, rather than like Part 1 and Part 2.
Which they hit on that with Vera's backstory a little more in this movie, which I thought was really interesting. You usually don't get a lot of characterization for some more of the side characters, which I gotta appreciate. This movie gives effort towards that, for diving into that with some of its lesser important characters, if that makes sense. So I thought that was cool. There is some awesome stuff here. So, Locked, thoughts on the characters and like little kind of self jabs, right, at how repetitive this movie was kind of.
Right. One thing that I don't ever hear anyone say about these characters, I think that the costume designer knocked it out of the park, because I think aesthetically, their outfits and stuff, they have like my favorite ensemble look of any of the ensembles in the Friday the 13th movie. Like I think this is like, because each of them stand out in my head. Like I can remember what they all look like visually. In a lot of the movies, it's like, a lot of the guys wear those 80s real short shorts and crop tops and stuff, and the girls all got like the Nancy hair, which they still have that in this movie. But I just feel like the character designs here, like their outfits are all stand out, which kind of helps me like place them a bit better. Like the stoners look like stoners, and it's all pretty stereotypical. But I don't know. Like I like these characters. Honestly, that was one of the reasons. I might change my mind next week when I watch Part 4. But one of the reasons I was lower on Part 4 is I like these characters more, except for Tommy. But like the ensemble cast, I prefer this ensemble cast to the ensemble cast in Part 4. I feel like they have more stuff.
Okay.
That's bold.
Yeah.
That's good. I remember even one of my videos, I was like, that's bootleg Tommy Chung. Because they just ripped off Tommy Chung. And then they did that again in Freddy vs. Jason. Like, that was Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. So they do that in slasher movies. Just a little, like, joke.
But it's fun, and they to me, it's like they put effort into trying to make these characters different, even if they do kind of fall into archetypes, right? Like the stoner or, the buff guy. Rick is like, fucking ripped. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, like, Rick had his shirt off. I was like, God damn, that guy's that guy could beat up Jason maybe, but he just got his head squashed. Like,
Yeah, didn't have enough time to do that, right? But I appreciate. I thought there was a little effort put towards that, especially for the early '80s. I'm like, okay, that's something that's better than what I thought, better than how I remembered this film. Scott Royson is also gifting 5 Killjoy Jake memberships. Scott, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Those memberships are going to Davey Deathray, Angel Diaz, Easton Plays, Alex Fallon. Fallon? Yeah, I can't read. And Tyler Fratis. Wow, I really can't read. Thank you guys so much, Scott. I appreciate you. Welcome to the fold, everybody. Enjoy the membership. We got some fun stuff coming for members this month, so very good stuff. Cool. I also want to say hi to another member. We have Jason Carpenter with us, saying missed you and Brian. Hell yeah, dog.
Thanks, Jason. Oh,
Appreciate
and that
you.
one girl was pregnant, and they killed her. I was like, that's
It's so funny that they dropped that because it
Yeah,
never comes
that's
up
so
again.
random. Like, how is she not going to be the final girl? I feel bad. Yeah, I feel bad for that baby.
I think it's another like they're trying to give character to these people, right? You know,
Yeah.
like you said, it doesn't really go anywhere, but it's an attempt.
It's funny because she doesn't need that. She's like the person that seems to know Chris the most. Because like there's that scene where they're like walking in the field talking about what happened. Like they don't straight up say it, but like they're talking about what happened to Chris. And at the end, I thought it was poetic that, well, not poet, twistedly poetic that she's the one that has the knife that Chris has to pull out to, you know, basically save herself against Jason.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so she didn't need it. Like, she's probably the best side character in this movie. Yeah, I'd say so.
I sympathize with Vera. I also think Shelly is a standout because he's annoying too. I also want to say I gotta
remember
say
his
that
name. I always know that name.
you won't forget Shelly after this movie. You know that's a big thing.
Skinny dipping because I wasn't skinny.
Oh
I
man,
wasn't skinny enough. Like, oh man.
He's a downer this whole movie too. That's another thing, which I think
Yeah.
again makes him kind of stand out, even though he kind of brings the vibe down a little bit. But it's interesting. I don't know. He's an interesting character. I hate him, but I think that's why I like him. Does that make sense? You know,
He's the reason for the max, Jake.
he's the reason for the mask. That's how
Shelly
Jason
popped
gets his
out of the
mask.
water, and he's like, "Oh, that's a cool look." So he slit his throat and took it. And yeah, so we wouldn't have the max without Shelly.
It is a crazy origin, right? It's a crazy origin for that story. I mean, one of the most iconic looks for a killer of all time, and it comes from this guy. It's nuts. I don't know. I love it though. But does anyone have a favorite character from Friday Part 3? Like a solidified, like, yeah, that one was my absolute number one.
Chris, without a doubt. I mean, the last 20 minutes, she's probably got the most badass showdown. I'd have to think about it for a second. Now, Part 7's probably more, but besides Part 7, like Chris's showdown, I mean, she stabs him twice, hits him with a log. Jason takes a beating from her in the last 20 minutes, stabs him twice, hit over the head with a log, hit over the head with a shovel, you know, tries to hang him, and then hits him with an axe. Like,
Yeah.
they throw down. Well, more so, he just kind of takes a beating for those last 20 minutes. So I love Chris. Her backstory is kind of campy, but this movie kind of fits the vibe of the movie, and she deserves a lot of credit because I just think those last 20 minutes she carried them pretty well.
Brian, do you got a favorite character?
Shelly. I like Shelly. I like Shelly's
Yeah.
humor. I like everything about Shelly. And you know, like I learned something from Shelly because he's like, "Hey, girl, oh, I really like you." Like, I don't think so. Like, just make the move, Shelly, or something. I would start rooting for him. And I don't know, he should have got a better, proper death. Like, it was sort of off screen. And they set that up where he had to, like, his throat slit, and they didn't believe him. Like, oh, you're playing tricks again. So, his death was pretty cool, too. But, yeah, pretty much Shelly.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. I do like Chris. I think because of the third act, you know, the acting in this movie is a little questionable, but I do like the sequence of events. You know what I mean? I do like the battle between her and Jason in this third act. I think that's fun. The Shelly is really a standout character to me because of his death in a lot of ways. Even though, you know, it is just a throat slit, but it's like, oh, he's kind of it's the boy that cried wolf thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like they don't believe that he's really doing that. They think it's makeup. And I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. That's an interesting setup that we don't see too many times in this franchise. I mean, we've definitely seen that before in many other movies, but I think it's cool. It's unique to Friday, and it's fun for that reason. But I also like, again, Vera with the harpoon. I think is a fantastic kill, which we're gonna get into kills next. I'm jumping ahead a little bit here. I think Rick is a solid character as well, and Fox. Fox is underrated, in my opinion. So, some good stuff all around here. But speaking of which, kills, let's be honest, that's why we're here. Jason Voorhees slicing up people into little tiny bits. What's your favorite kill of Friday the 13th Part 3? And we'll start with Locked this time.
Yeah, it's got to be the harpoon. Because, like, one, it's so iconic in a way. Because, like, you see him come on screen, and then he's just, holding it up like that. And then, like, both her falling in the water, for a character that I think is one of the more likable in the movie, she goes out in such a way that's just so, it's sad. And, like, she's, like, being such a decent person to Shelly and all that, and then she goes out like that. And then his walk-off, like, that scene right there is probably why Richard might, I don't know if he's my favorite Jason, but he's in contention because of that scene. So that's my favorite. Honorable mention, not when his eye pops out, but when Jason throws him through the window to kind of jumpstart that third act battle. I was like, dude, that's so metal. I love that shit. I wish Jason would do shit like that more. And he like goes up to the window, like, oh, it looks so cool.
Hell yeah, dude. Brian, what's your favorite kill of Friday Part 3?
Oh, the harpoon one was cool. Like, she didn't know it, and that was like Jason first showing up with the hockey mags. And like, hey, I dropped your wallet, and it was, another reason I like Shelly. He liked his mom, and he had like such a, I don't know, Velcro wallet. Like, he's such a dork. But maybe it was a dorky back then. But I know if you have a Velcro wallet now, yeah, you're a dork. So, and he had a picture of his mom who looked like his grandma. And I don't know, he's a sweet boy.
Sweet boy.
I like that whole thing. Shelly could have lived. But yeah, shooting her in the face, that's cool. It's cool in the video game too. I love doing that part. That's like the first kill you get to do. And yeah, probably that. Who else had the girl who got from underneath? That was pretty cool too, because you got to see the blood dripping on her little, like, she was reading Fangoria too. So, yeah, it's maybe a tie, but yeah, the harpoon one was pretty dope.
This was a big thing because like this is the Friday movie I don't rewatch a ton. And going back and watching this again, I was like, the kills in this are actually pretty solid. Like, I was pretty impressed across the board here. Considering the time period, considering the MPAA constantly cutting down these movies, this one has some pretty brutal kills. I gotta go with Ty Lee though, who was talking about the handstand walking kill. This is also my favorite, even though I feel like the most iconic is Vera's death because it's the big reveal with the mask and all that. I'm sure that if we were to take a time machine right now, go back in time and see the premiere for this, the cheers and applause would be the Vera kill. But the handstand walking kill is brutal, and then we get to see the aftermath of it later with the bifurcation, the guy dripping blood. It's awesome. That's a lot of fun. So I do really like that one too. In an effort to be different as well, right? I want to say hi to just a few people in the chat as well. Madison, what's up? How's it going? Welcome. Thanks for being a member. Appreciate you. Same to you, Drizzy Fest. Yo, what's up, fella? Welcome in. Thoughts on those? But yeah, so do you guys like the bifurcation kill though too? Because I kind of vibe with it. It's silly, it's fun, matches the tone of this movie. I don't know.
Bifurcation? Which one's that?
Dude's handstand walking, and then he just machete in the the balls.
He's supposed to
that's my second favorite.
A bit because he's like in half, like he got sawed in half, like his legs are up there, right?
I think Jason just hit him so hard with the the machete, it just cut into him.
I'm a little confused. I was like, oh, it just split him down there. Ooh, almost like Terrifier. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, let's say Art the Clown was watching that and was like,
yeah, like,
I got an idea.
There we go.
And then just because I think for a good kill, it needs to be sexy. It needs to or a comedic element. It needs to make you cheer in some sort of way. And I think that one does. It's a cool camera shot because he's looking up and sees Jason from down there. So you get like the victim's POV, like he finally sees Jason for the first time. So yeah, for the camera work and everything involved with it, with the gore, yeah, you won me over, Jake. That's not my favorite one. He made a lot
Hell
of
yeah.
good sense.
All right, well, cool, man. No, I love that kill. I think there's some pretty good ones in this movie, and thankfully not everything is cut out of it. Like, you flash forward to part 7, which in my opinion is a pretty good Friday movie, but a lot of the gore got cut out of that movie, which is a shame.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really appreciate that about part 3. It's gory. It's got some fun characters. It's a goofy little film. But speaking of which, Jason, a big thing about this movie that people constantly talking about is the fact that Jason finally gets his iconic look here. We have the hockey mask, which he pretty much has for the rest of these movies, even though we have different iterations of that. Jason X, probably the best example. Uber Jason. But what do you guys think about his iconic look in this flick with the hockey mask, and then the fact that he also keeps the slit or whatever in the hockey mask for the rest of his existence? That's crazy. That's so funny to me. I love that weird little bit of consistency. But
he didn't get a new mask till part 8, right? I think he got a new one in 8.
I think it's this.
Yeah, he did get a new one in part 8.
Yeah.
Oh, is it different in 8?
Remember in 7 it pops off, and they kept up with the continuity.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
I think even from part 6 to 7, he had like a bullet hole from when the sheriff shot him, like, bah, right?
Oh, okay.
These holes, and he still had the slit. But I think even 7, like the other part got like chewed off or something from when the boat hit him in the face, right?
The whole mask gets ripped off in 7, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
and then it gets ripped off.
It does eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
At the end,
it's
there.
all wet and slimy. Yeah. But yeah,
Brutal.
this is where they started it. And you go like, really, I guess like looking back, you're like, an axe to the head, that won't kill Jason. That's not even gonna kill Winnie the Pooh in part 2, Blood and Honey, right? That's not even gonna do it. So yeah, so just one little hit to the head, because he's still like considered humanoid Jason. And he was running in this, which was pretty scary too, watching back on it. I was like, oh, because every time I see Jason run now, I go, oh shit, I remember he used to run a lot more.
Yeah.
I like when he's jumping after her. That was a pretty nice touch, since she stabbed him in the leg.
That's something that's so easily forgotten, right? It's so easy to just forget. Oh, he got stabbed in the leg. Well, just run after it. It's fine. It's no big deal. No, they keep that. They keep that consistent here, which is nice. I will say I didn't even think about that in terms of him running, because I always credit the remake for being like, oh, Jason's running, like that's super scary, but they do kind of do that in some of these early movies. I forget about that sometimes.
Yeah, I think he stopped running after 4, right? Because 5 was Roy Burns, and then 6 was zombified. Like he didn't have to run, and he was just so OP in that. So
he's power walking in part 6.
Yeah. But yeah, after he killed Vera, he just sort of like slumped over, like, okay, like, all right. But that's what was scary about it, and that's probably why they kept it through like the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I vibe with
I
it,
also
though.
like about the look, like how long he goes in the movie without the mask. Because like what is also really cool about this movie is they didn't know how iconic it was. They knew it looked cool, but they didn't know how iconic it was going to be. So it feels so like, where in the remake it's such a big deal. Like he kills the weird creepy guy and gets the mask. It's a cool scene, but it's very like they know it's the hype. Where in this one, it feels so it just kind of happens so naturally, and it comes together in a way that's really neat.
It's
a
not
great
even
look.
on the cover. Like, I think the cover was him like poking the machete through the shower curtain. So we still had no idea what like Jason looked like from that. Like, is he going to overalls or anything? Like, yeah, we didn't see him all the way till like that Vera kill.
Yeah, and it's like it's an iconic look. I see why it works for so many people. I think because of the presentation. Like I really think it's that kill that solidified like, oh, this is Jason. We got to move forward with this. And we talked about this in the previous 2 streams, but I love that when going back and watching these movies, you can see them finding their footing a little more, with each entry as we move into part 4. And this is the biggest element of it in part 3, I think, is like finding Jason's look. We're a little more confident in our killer this time around versus where we've kind of stumbled with him in the past. Even though I do love Baghead Jason, I don't care if it's a rip off of what came before. I vibe with it. It's cool. It's fun. But this is where the franchise really really starts to leap into its own thing. You know, it's no longer, maybe there are some elements of it that are trying to copy past slashers, whatever, but like they really find their own voice in a unique sort of way here, even if this is kind of just a remake of part 2. In many ways, it has some very mild differences that makes it stand out and makes it a lot of fun. I think that's why a lot of people credit this one as their favorite. You know, a lot of people really do love this one. Looking back on it,
this number 1. Some people.
I know Locked says he really likes it, and
it's ranked 4th for me.
4th, hell yeah.
There you go.
Dylan from Splattercast too, who was on last time, this used to be his favorite. Like this used to be his number 1 from the whole franchise, which I think it's really interesting. I don't know. I never had like a crazy love for this movie, but I do vibe with it a lot more the more I watch it. Is what I will say.
The lowest rated on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Yeah. 7%.
Out of all of these?
Yeah, I believe so.
Dude, like
what? Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
I think that's still like 10%. I don't know. Let me look that up. Get your
no offense to those fans, but
dude,
I know
like
Planet CHH loves that one, but it's rough.
Jason Goes to Hell too. Like that's my least favorite one. I don't know.
Yeah, because Jason's barely in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Jason Goes to Hell is 16%, so it's low. But dang, dude, Friday the 13th Part 3 is.
Yeah,
like
they also give the original a 60%. So
yeah. That's bizarre, man. I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about that. But I do, majority of these movies I really do love, but I don't know if it deserves that low of a percentage. There's enough going on here for me to enjoy this. I've seen movies that are like a 7% that I can't even get through. You know what I mean?
7.
Look at that. Okay, audience score is 42 though. I can get behind that, you know?
Yeah, that's more accurate.
Important to remember, like Rotten Tomatoes has like the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre at like a 30% or something like that. It's wild. It's like there's no way. Like there's no way you think that remake is that bad. There's no way.
Wait, Part 3 or the remake?
The TCM remake is like 30% on there.
Yeah,
fairly certain. It's wild. They hate horror sequels or remakes or like they're always low on them. Almost always.
What? Oh that sucks, man. Well, you know, that's a pretty good question. What would you rate this on Rotten Tomatoes, or like a percentage out of 100, if you guys could?
Oh man, I love Slash. 60? I don't know.
Okay.
60, I hope it, yeah.
Yeah, I was saying like 65-ish. So yeah, right around that part.
It's a passing grade. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I'd give it a passing grade. It's fun enough, you know? It's definitely, I think, Brian, you were saying this earlier, like, it's definitely better than some of the slasher films we've seen recently. You know, it's better.
Founders Day. What's some more recent?
The Strangers Chapter 1. I think it's a little better than that, you know?
Yeah, most definitely.
So, I think the thing with Part 3 especially is it's got some fun characters, it's got some fun kills, it's got an excellent location. They filmed this in California opposed to the East Coast, which I think some people are like, oh, I don't like that about this, but I don't know, it kind of makes it like grander for me personally. I really like the locations in this one. Yeah, oh yeah, no, across the board I really enjoy the visuals of this whole movie. I think that's fun. It works for it. We have some people in the audience giving it like a 5 out of 10. It is a perfect 5 out of 10 movie. Okay.
Perfect 5 out of 10. That's mid, right? 5 out of 10 is mid.
Yeah.
It's a mid movie. I mean, being mid is better than being shit, you know?
Yeah. You know what? If this was like 1982 or 4 or something like that, I'd probably rate it way higher because that's like the best, almost like, oh, I love Part 2 and Part 3. We don't know about Final Chapter yet and everything. So that's why it's so surprising. Why is it so low? It should have been higher than a little bit lower. Like, oh, this is what you can do with the story and stuff. So, yeah.
No, I agree though, because I think if I hadn't seen like, you know, the 40 plus years of horror after that, right? Like this would rank way higher for me. It's extremely fun and extremely like gory and over the top. And I think that's a big thing about this one, that like in the moment I'd be like, that was awesome. You know, if I had went with my friends, I would totally be losing my mind over this one. You know, watching this maybe 6, 7, 8 times or so, like I could see maybe losing that excitement a little bit. But man, watching this with some beers in hands with a bunch of buddies, like that would be a vibe. Like I could totally get into that, where I can't say the same about, you know, Founders Day, Strangers Chapter 1, some other more modern slashers. So goes to show, man. Some of these age like fine
Yeah.
wine. But wrapping the stream up a little bit, because, you know, part 3, it's hard for me to disagree that this movie is mid. I do really like it, though. That mid is not bad. You know, people are like, oh, mid is whatever. No, mid is better than shit. I'm dying on that hill. I'd rather be mid than shit. So overall thoughts on part 3, and Brian, we'll start with you this time. What are your just final thoughts on this third entry?
I love it. I think it's great. I think it's top 4, top 5, and it's better than, like I said, a bunch of other slasher movies. I mean, it lays down the foundation for the rest of the series. What other slashers do? I mean, it upped sort of like the kills. I mean, they took out a lot of the meandering that part 1 and part 2 did, so it seemed like it was a little bit paced better than probably 2. But yeah, it's a solid entry, and any slasher fan, you have to watch part 3 and give it its flowers too. And the 3D effect, like that gimmick actually propelled it to way past like Friday the 13th Part 2's box office and such. So, and they said they were going to end it after this one. They're like, no, man, we can't end after all this box office. You crazy? So, dude, it went on to what, 12 movies, and they were thinking about canceling it after 3. So,
Yeah.
they weren't going to end on this, like, especially like Sorvalono and the other movies, like, really stomped all over this. This is like one of the franchises just keeps getting better and better and better and better, rather than one's a classic and everything has diminishing results.
Yeah, no, I feel that, man. And Locked, what final thoughts on Friday the 13th, Part 3?
Yeah, there's some things I haven't mentioned yet. I think the utilization of the soundtrack, I think the way they've used Manfredini's music in this movie was better than it had been before. Like the placing of it and stuff. The theme, I hadn't think about it the first time I watched it. I kind of wish more Friday movies would lean into a bit more of the pop and like fun. I think sometimes like the very, very like serious music kind of plays against how goofy Friday the 13th is, so I wish it would do that more. But I love the theme of this movie. And the other thing was I'd love to see a remake of this movie in particular, because I think if you strip away the 3D stuff and you make some of the stuff with Chris less cheesy, I think part 3, I think it'd be killer for a remake. Of any of the original movies, I think this one the most, because there's just so much you could do to... If it had like modern, you know, Halloween 2018 kind of like effects in it and stuff, I think it could be a banger at the theater for sure.
Was it Friday the 13th, the remakes are 1, 2, and 3 like smashed together, pretty much? Like,
4, yeah.
Yeah, he wore the bag. They showed the mom killing people sort of like in the very beginning. And then the part 3, he got the max. So it was a little bit like that. Like the remake could have been Higgins Haven. You know, those guys weren't counselors either. They were just showing up at a house, right?
I was just gonna say that. I feel like the 2009 movie does capture the spirit of this film, you know, in a lot of ways. And then of course has modern effects and more modern characters, storytelling, all that stuff, which is nice. But I think like what you're getting down to is like, this is what we love about the Friday films, is like they're fun, they're goofy, you don't have to think too much about them or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, here's horror, here's some fast food in a bag through a drive-through kind of horror, and that's what I'm looking through. That's what I'm looking for when it comes to a Jason movie, and that's what I really want from this franchise moving forward, which I guess is why I'm so wary about Crystal Lake. You know, I think that's kind of a big thing that's been on my brain lately. Like, I'm down for like Pamela focused horror and all that, but I just feel like if we get too in the nitty gritty of what the story's going to be, you know what I mean? So I feel like we're just overthinking it, right?
Yeah, we didn't want Crystal Lake to be like Bates Motel. Like,
yeah,
it'd be like 4 seasons of the mom. Yeah. No.
I can't believe they're going to have Charlize Theron. That is insane. That has to be a fake rumor or something. Because, like...
Dude, that's like kind of confirmed, though. Isn't that crazy?
That's so wild. Because who's going to watch Charlize Theron?
Me.
Well, no, I get you. I completely agree. No, I love her, but it's just such a wild idea to cast her, because, like, Damn, that's just so insane.
Yeah, that'd be like a new twist. Like, damn, Pamela Voorhees was hot. Shit.
Dude,
Yeah.
OG Pamela can get it, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, she went head up. Oh wow.
OG Pamela
Dude,
over
no.
Betsy Palmer's
Billy
a smoke
Stewart.
show, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. No.
Betsy
Maybe in
over,
the 40s. I don't know, when she was acting in the 50s. I gotta see an old picture of her. They'll be like, I get you, Jay.
oh boy.
Oh my god. But
Yeah. She's
but I
still
don't know.
alive too, right? Oh.
Betsy Palmer is Betsy Palmer still alive?
No, wait, I think she's dead.
I was like, I don't think she
Yeah.
is, but
I think they were going to have her in Freddy versus Jason, but she was like, nah, no, I'm sorry, good. She was still alive then, so.
Yeah, Betty
it's
White
fine.
look alike in Freddy vs. Jason.
I
remember that.
They had a good look-alike. But yeah, the
doesn't
show would have been crazy. Charlize Theron.
do you think so? That, I guess that's the last question I'll ask you guys. What do you want? Like, what do you think is going to happen with Crystal Lake moving forward? Now that the plans of doing like a Pamela focused series are seemingly kind of like underwater, not really going anywhere. What would you like from the series if they do like a hard reset?
Oh, that Kevin Williamson, that whole like chase episode thing in the snow, that sounds dope. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, let's bounce around. Or they're saying, like, after 10 seasons, we'll go to space. Like, no, I want space soon. Like, why can't we do that in episode 3 or something like that?
I want space now.
Yeah, let's do a Doctor Strange bullshit where we have portals and we can go in and out of all these different things or something. I want to see, like, let's just get nuts with it. Like, let's get an episode of, let's find out what happened with Jason when he crash landed back on Earth, right? Like, let's do that. Get crazy with it. Let's not take our time and be like, well, we got to the whole origin story. Or, I don't know, we find out about who Jason's dad is and everything. Or what do you guys think about the Chucky show? It's just like a continuation, but where do we continue on Crystal Lake? Do we go after the remake, or do we go after Freddy versus Jason? We don't know where he's at right now.
Not getting a sequel with Derek Mears is such a disappointment, man. He was so great.
Yeah, I would love to see more of that. Okay, I'm so sorry. I know we're in the middle of a question already, but have you guys heard about the leaked ideas for the sequel to the remake?
No, what were
I
they?
might have heard about it, but refresh us, Jake. Sure.
Dude, it was supposed to be so cool. Like it was going to be another like crazy long opening scene, just like the 2009 movie, like another like 20-30 minute one. But it was like basically a short film about like these people who went up to Crystal Lake in the wintertime and they're like playing ice hockey on the lake. And Jason like busts through and starts killing everybody. Dude, it would have been awesome. But I would have loved to have seen one more Derek Mears performance as Jason, man. Like that's another big thing.
He was such a mean Jason, but I love it.
Oh yeah.
But the TV show, I don't know. The Jason Universe stuff has me very low on it. I just don't have a lot of. I mean, I know A24 is producing it, but if I could just have any wish in the world with it,
Or I heard it was going to be 8 million an episode or something. Like, God damn, that's more than most of these movies' budget were. Like, that's Game of Thrones money. Shit.
Yeah, I don't feel like Jason moves to the TV show format super well. Because, like, with Jason, I feel like you want to be in and out. Like, there's a reason people say the first, like, 20 minutes of 2009 is, like, the best Friday the 13th movie. Is because, like, the in and out stuff with Jason is where he's at his peak. And but I don't know, like just I almost see it becoming more like the Scream TV show if we did Friday the 13th. I mean, just make the killer just Jason. But I feel like that's the kind of format you would have where like a 40-minute episode, 30 minutes is drama, and the last 10 minutes or so is a Jason kill or something. I feel like that's what it would be. It's hard to think of what you would even do because I just don't think. I mean, there's a reason every movie is basically 80 minutes once you get rid of the flashbacks and stuff. I don't know what you would do with a TV show.
Yeah, you got to spend 10 minutes recapping the previous movie.
And, you know, even though we laugh at these things, I'm almost like, you know, what if we just stopped overthinking it and just did what we did back in the 80s for the most part for like a new Jason TV show, movie,
A new Jason
whatever.
movie every 3 years would make me so happy.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, man. And like, I think the fans of this franchise, that's what they want more than anything. They don't want like overcomplicated, you know, high budgets with, you know, crazy complex storylines going on and telling this intricate thing.
That's what hurt the franchise.
Yeah, man, I just want to see Jason killing people. Like, that is all I've ever wanted from this franchise. Like, there are other franchises where I do want these complex stories, like original movies and all that. That's great and all. But, you know, with Friday the 13th, I'm here to have fun, and that's about it. You know, don't raise the prices on the McDonald's menu. That's what I'm thinking about, you know? That's how I feel about Friday, but I don't know. That's just my piece with it. Whatever comes from this franchise at this point, I'll fucking take it. We haven't had anything since 2009, dudes. I want something.
The video game. I mean,
okay, yeah.
I fuck with the video game. I count that as a part of a franchise. You know, like that's everything. Books.
At this point,
movies.
I consider the Womp Stomp movies canon because
yeah,
they're better than half the franchise anyway. So
yeah.
Tough for me
Maybe
to disagree
count
there, man. They're great.
In a Violent Nature as a Jason movie.
I do. I definitely count that. In a Violent Nature rocked, man.
Oh yeah.
I consider X to be in the same universe as like Texas Chainsaw. So
I see that.
Yeah. Cross that over.
There you go. Well, good stuff, guys. Well, before we wrap this up, if you guys want to kind of promote some shit, throw it out there, man. That's you know, good way to wrap it up, I think. Brian, we'll start with you, man. I know you got your YouTube thing going, so.
Oh, okay. Well, Quiet Place is coming out. That's why I was like, oh, that's gonna be the one to save the month, right? Like that's gonna be huge. And then, dude, we got Maxine. People have already seen Maxine, so I'm gonna be covering that. Like, counts about that. Yeah, pretty much that. Or I put up a video for bike riders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's try something else. You know, like whatever. There's some deaths in it. Not enough deaths, but some deaths. So, yeah. So yeah, just kill counts about some stuff, and hopefully, if we get a lot of Maxine stuff and another trailer with some deaths in it, because I'm trying to think of like who's gonna die in it. Is it gonna be more of a whodunit? I don't know. Answer all that on the channel.
Very nice. Well, good stuff. Go subscribe to Slasher in Suits and Locked. What's up with you, man? What you up to?
Oh man, I was supposed to start a channel a couple of years ago, but I've moved like 3 or 4 times now, so it's been difficult. But horror YouTube's in a great place. Subscribe to Jake's other channel. Subscribe to Ruckland Graves because he's great. Like, we're in a great place with all this stuff. So I don't know. Subscribe to people who rock out. I don't know. It's a good time for horror YouTube.
Hey man, you're sharing the love, and that's great. Because I do agree. We have some great channels coming up. Again, I can't talk more positively about Splattercast and Rockland Graves. Like, they're just both fantastic, making some great content. Brian, I love your stuff too. Kill counts are so much fun.
Too, Jake.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Rockland Graves is crushing it, man.
And he's killing it right now. And that's great. That's great to see. That's what do they say about rising tides raise all ships, right? That helps everybody out when somebody in the community blows up. So, and I listen, I've been seeing the results. I'm getting more views on shit that never used to get views, and it's awesome. Like, it's great. We have a lot more people interested in horror in the YouTube space, and it makes me so happy. It's fantastic. Real quickly before we sign off, Nightfall 3D is throwing $5 out there, dude. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Saying part 3 is what made me stop watching slashers for the story. I've only been interested in the kills since then. And, you know, I think this is a good note to come off of, because I think in this modern day, there are so many movies that feel the need to overcomplicate a slasher film when you can just do something like this. Both things I think are good in totally different instances and different examples. But real quick, just quick thoughts on that, guys. Just real quick.
This is why Halloween Kills rocks.
I love it.
Yeah.
In terms of kills and stuff, it's the best modern slasher.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Terrifier 2.
Terrifier 2.
And Terrifier 3 is going to crush it, too. We should be getting that trailer any day now, right? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, dude. like in the violent nature, people are complaining there's not enough story. We spend no time with those characters. Then they go, okay, let's give you characters. And then they go, where's the kills? Nobody's ever happy, dude. So,
No.
you can't please everybody. I don't know. So, yeah, Halloween Kills is one of the best slashers recent years too. And it sucks that he's saying part 3 has no story. It has somewhat of a story, like you said.
More story than one.
Yeah.
Chris actually has a reason to be on screen, unlike Ellis.
Or you
Yeah.
give too much story, people get like complicated, or I don't know. Or
Part
screen-
8 has like
yeah.
the worst final girl. I think she's the worst final girl of all time. I haven't seen like every slasher, but
Mhm.
she's at the very bottom for me. She is, oh man, her story is so.
She has Stephen
it's
King's
bad.
pen, dude. What do you mean?
Oh, she's.
Wait,
so
what's her backstory? She got like drugged down by
her
somebody
dad
at the
and some
lake.
weird stuff.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
It's a weird one for sure. But
Yeah.
Nightfall, thank you so much for the 5, and look at this. You guys are so generous tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for the super chats. Hollywood Guy, thank you for the 5, man. Hello. I really don't remember too much of Friday the 13th Part 3. Is that the one where he wore a straw mask? Straw mask? Has he ever worn a straw mask?
I
Wait.
think maybe she's referring to like the sack with straw.
Oh.
Like sack head.
You're right. No,
Maybe.
Part 3 Hollywood Guy that we were just talking about is the one where he gets the hockey mask, dude. Like he gets the iconic look in this one. Part 2 is with the bag. You're so right, Brian. Yeah. No, this one rocks, man. It's a lot of fun.
So
Go back and
Jenny
rewatch
took-
it.
Jenny took off his mask at the end of part 2, and he's like, "Fuck it, it's tainted now." So she ruined the fun for me. So then he went out to look for another mask, and didn't find it all the way till Shelly scared, popped out of the water. Went, "Oh, that's cool. He's onto something, right?" Or I even what the Crystal Lake Memories. They're just like everyone's taking credit for who invented the hockey mask, and it's just a couple of the guys like really liked hockey, because this is like an old school goalies max, right? Like this is nothing, right? Like now the goalie max, they cover your like neck and everything and go all
Right.
the way around and on the top of your head. So this was like a goalie max from like the 50s or something.
It is scary looking though. It's an effective look for Jason. I do love it though, man.
He is scarier in this movie than I remembered.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I agree. I think this is one of the scariest Jasons so far. I think he's scarier than Part 2 in this one. I love the movements. I love the look. It's great. That's very good stuff.
Do you think people watch this for the first time like, wow, that scared the shit out of me? Or they were just like, oh, that's fun.
Listen, I have
think
been.
If you're not used to horror, the
Yeah.
scene where he throws the guy through the window and he's like just standing over her. I think if this is gateway horror, I think that scene would scare some people. But that's probably it. It's probably the only one.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of jump scares, or I don't know. It's so refreshing because now, I don't know if you saw it yet too, or The Exorcism with Russell Crowe. It's
I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it yet either, but I go like I just hear terrible things, and it's like, oh come on, dude, Nun, like it's just the Nun and possession movies constantly. Like I miss slasher, even though you crap on Strangers Chapter 1, I still appreciate. All right, here's the effort. Maybe Chapter 2 will be better. So
Hopefully,
Yeah.
man. Listen,
it's good for just, and this is surprising. It never went to like a video. I mean, like straight to DVD. It didn't never went to straight to streaming like Hellraiser or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So this is that's what probably
be
kept
careful what you
it.
wish for. It might happen.
Yeah.
With the way it's going.
That's why I'm sort of sad by hearing about Crystal Lake. Like, he's going to TV, even though they had a TV show, right? But it didn't.
wasn't it
feature
something
Jason.
else? Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, they only used the name.
Yeah, they just used the name, so it wasn't his likeliness or anything. But
It is
Yeah.
interesting though.
I think if you do TV, it's like it used to be a stigma. Now you're out of the movie theaters. Like Chucky will probably never be in theaters again. I think,
Oh, really?
right? Like,
I see. Like, I would love to see one more Chucky movie, like from Don Mancini, not the 2019
No.
one.
I think that after the TV show, they might find surprising success because Scream kind of did. Like Scream TV has a lot of fans like around my age or younger.
Mhm.
And then like Jenna Ortega was in Scream 5, and like those new Scream movies, popped off because I think they really attached themselves to a younger audience. And so Chucky, the TV show, it has a lot of naysayers, and I'm not crazy about it. But you see the fandom online. Younger people love Chucky now. So I think a Chucky movie, I think it would shock people how well it would do because younger people, they love to go see their horror. I mean, look at Taro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Terror was bullshit. I tried watching a like
$5
I
million.
refused to rent it or something. I have to watch a bootleg. I'm not giving money to Terror.
Maybe don't admit that on the internet, but hey,
Oh, they're not watching.
they're not watching. Let's be honest. But what I will say about the Chucky TV show before we really get this going, and Nightfall 3D, dude, thank you so much for the second super chat. I just saw that, and Hollywood Guy, thank you to you as well. We will get to all these. I will say, as much as I'm not a fan of it, I really appreciate it. It's Don Mancini's sandbox to do all the things that he wanted to do with the franchise for the longest time, and he just didn't because, well, he had editors before, and what I'm starting to realize is maybe he needed those editors because I don't know, I'm just not as crazy about the stories in the show. It's just too off the rails. It's too like, it's silliness is the most important thing in the show, to have the most silly, ridiculous antics possible. Chucky in the White House, you know what I mean? It sounds like they made this in a boardroom with a bunch of cocaine, and that works for younger people. People love seeing that. That's a lot of fun. But
The kills are so good, Jake.
the kills are great. I can't argue with that. The Chucky TV show has some good things going for it, but the storylines just they take me out of it. It just feels like Seed of Chucky the show, and I can do Seed of Chucky in a movie. I can do that in 90 minutes. I can't do it across multiple episodes of TV. You know what I mean? That's my thing. It's the format that kills it.
What's the comment? It's a poorly executed 3D gimmick, right? It said it ruined slashers, or he's just saying the story.
I think, yeah, so Nightfall 3D, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you, man. Saying it was Part 3's poorly executed 3D gimmick that ruined slashers for their stories for me. Fun times otherwise. That's a shame, dude, because I think there are some great slasher movies with excellent stories.
Excellent 3D. We got Freddy's dead at the very end, right? So they're like, put on your glasses now, everybody, right?
Brian, I appreciate the heck out of you, but Freddy's Dead is not the movie to bring up when talking about good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with 3D
That
horror
was
though,
just for jokes. I don't know.
I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing.
Yeah.
Or My Bloody Valentine was in 3D. The other one. So I think some 3D gimmicks really work well in the slashers. And like I said, Scream 6, I love that in 3D as well. So they could definitely do it more.
Yeah. And like I think with 3D horror, you gotta know what you're getting into. Like, oh, this is gonna be crazy to say. Texas Chainsaw 3D is probably my third or fourth favorite in the franchise. Now, it's awful, but it's so damn entertaining. Where most of those movies, like Leatherface Part 3, is like a bore fest. Texas Chainsaw 3D, man, it's so funny. Like the chick keeps tripping over herself. They stop the van so Leatherface can come up and hit the wheel. Like, it's so ridiculous. But the 3D horror movies, they're the Godzilla event movies, like the U.S. Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
They're just really they're a fun time if you let yourself kind of go down to that level and just want to have a really silly time. I think they're a lot of fun. I don't think I've ever seen one that I like hate. They're just fun movies.
Yeah,
and I say I hate that one.
That's fair. It's awful. It's awful, dude.
It's awful. But I could see if it has 3D, even a shittier slasher movie, if it has some cool 3D in it, I'm like, okay, I'll be down. Like, I always try to see a movie in 3D if they have the option to, because I'm on the AMC stubs, whatever, so it's sort of like, you're paying the same thing no matter what, so might as well get more bang for your buck, but...
Oh, Jaws 3D.
Jaws 3D.
That's the boring 3D movie to me. I don't care for Jaws 3D at all.
No,
I'd rather watch the fourth one, just because the fourth one, the shark's like sentient and shit. So it's so
ridiculous.
funny. But Part 3, just, man, no.
I do want to say before we move on to Hollywood Guys super chat, I just want to say Nightfall 3D. I think it is very ironic that you have 3D in your name and yet you don't like the 3D gimmick in part 3. But
in his logo, he had to design that logo.
It's in the but Nightfall, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. And I'm so sorry that you're not crazy about slasher stories. That bums me out, dude. So thanks for the 5 though. I appreciate it. And we are going to end this stream right after this. But Hollywood Guy, thank you for the 2, saying, well, there is a Jaws 3D in that universe. And Locked just hit the nail on the head. I think this is such a boring movie, but it's so fucking funny at times, dude. When the shark comes through the glass, oh my god!
I will use this to advertise Jaws 2 because I always stand by that one. It's the one sequel. I think it's a great slasher movie. Like if you view the shark as a slasher killer, I think Jaws 2 honestly competes with is it any worse than most of the Friday the 13th sequels? Like past part 7, like it's better time than part 8 or 9 or Jason Next to Me. I love Jaws 2, but yeah, 3D is boring.
Yeah. Well, it had Brody, so you're like, all right, well, it's when you have to get used to like a whole new cast. You're like, oh, why it feels like a totally different movie.
Yeah, I think for me, I gotta agree again. Like, I just think Jaws 4 is such a shit show. Like, I can't. It's like a car wreck. I can't look away. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is atrocious, dude. Yeah, I'm like, every decision was the wrong one in Jaws 4, and that's what entertains me. But like, I can't stop watching it if I put it on.
Didn't that actor also he basically disowned it? Was it Michael Caine or what's his name?
Maybe.
He's like, I did it for the paycheck, and I've never seen it. Like he's never watched
it.
That's so fucking funny. That's metal as fuck, honestly. I can't even get mad about that. But
John Carpenter kind of stuff.
Yes, that's some John Carpenter energy all over it. I love it. Hollywood Guy, thank you for the 2, man. I really do appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching tonight. Really do appreciate you guys. We'll be talking about part 4 at some point next week, potentially Wednesday or Saturday. I'm not sure yet. I do like doing these Saturday streams, though. They're fun. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me. New video on Monday talking about Megan. We're starting a new series on this page, going through some movies and doing some fun little commentary. So check that out on Monday. Or if you're a Jason and Freddy tier patron, you can watch it right now. Holy shit. Have a crazy Saturday night with Jake talking about Megan. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there. Peace out.